So, have you ever wanted to figure out how to prioritize me time as well as have a successful business? Because I know we're definitely in a generation where we talk a lot about the soft life. But if you know anything about entrepreneurship, you know there's very little softness in building success. That's what we're talking about. Let's jump into it. So I am Dr. Sheikah Square, and I have a coaching business that allows women to expand their brand, expand into multiple six-figure streams of income, travel the world. We do a lot of international retreats and conferences as well as local, but we do love a luxurious international trip. So I want to talk about, and with that, it's because I believe I believe that when you make money, you should also be able to use that money to experience the beauty that is life, not just work all the time. So I am not one of those coaches that say, just stop living. Live, work, like eat, pray, love almost. So how to prioritize me time and still hit your financial goals. Let's talk about it. So I'll talk about things that I incorporate in my coaching sessions with clients, as well as things that I actually do for my business that works. And one of the first and probably the most important things, if you don't hear anything else or you got to hop off to get back to your entrepreneurship life, calendars and planners. I have certain dates blocked off on my calendar that are off days. And they are blocked off well in advance, and I stick to them. They're color coded. So if someone calls and they're like, hey, I want to work with you, can we set up a time to talk? And I look at my calendar, even though setting up times with me is automated. But let's say we meet on the street. And I go ahead and I look at my calendar. There are certain days I wouldn't even book you because those days are blocked off and they're off days. So that's one way I'm able to keep me time. At first, I used to just say that those were off days, but they weren't blocked off, color coded and things like that. And what do you think would happen? I would end up scheduling times with people, scheduling visits, scheduling consultations with people and things like that. So I block off my calendar, my digital calendar, and then I transfer those blocked off days to my actual desk planner. So if I'm on the phone and I look at my planner first, or I'm writing in things, or I'm scheduling what I want to do for the next week, which I'll talk about in a second, I know, okay, no, I won't do it on this day. Something else I use my planners for is I schedule my week ahead of time. I don't schedule it as it happens, or, I want to say willy-nilly. I sit down and I say, okay, this week I wasn't the best about that. I put a few things on, but I realized I left a lot of free time. I guess I didn't feel like working. But anyway, usually I sit down the weekend before the week starts and write off what I plan on doing that week. Looking at my digital calendar, which is usually scheduled weeks, if not months in advance, to see how I can, or see where I can take those things off and then put them onto the planner. And I don't want to bore y'all with this. I want to make sure that you know something you could be doing even if you don't do it. I place the stuff from the digital calendar onto the planner so that they are synced. I still use a paper planner because I enjoy it. I know some people just do digital, and that's fine if you want to do a completely digital planner, but I still love the one that sits on my desk and I can look at it, and I even give them for gifts. So that's the first thing I do. The second thing I've already mentioned, because I didn't know it was number 2 on here, is non-negotiable day offs, non-negotiable things that you have in your calendar. So even though we're doing the me time to create this beautiful softness or freedom in our life, you have to almost be a warrior about keeping those things sacred. And that's probably also what people might not like, is you have to start telling people no. Like, oh, can you meet here? Oh, I can't. Oh, can you have a meeting on this day? Oh, I can't. Now, I might meet you later that night after I've already had the whole day off. I don't, by the nighttime, I might be free. But many times I do not schedule anything on that day. Something else that we'll talk about in Number 3, and I guess we can talk about it now, I also on my days off used to schedule like service appointments. Like if I had a lady coming in to clean my house, or I had the handyman come into one of the properties or something like that, I would schedule that on my off day. And what I started realizing is I'm working, so I'm not off. And then I'm wondering why I'm so tired. So what I started doing is scheduling those days on days that I work and looking at it as part of the appointments that I have, so that I could still have days to myself. And so consider that, scheduling your appointments. I mean, and I think that came from being an employee. You tried to schedule things when you were off. Now I'm not an employee and I still need those off days because I work weekends, and I'll talk about that in a second. So making sure that I'm scheduling things on days that I work, even things that are considered service appointments, because the ladies might come and clean one of the properties for an event or for a showing or something like that. I'm not in real estate, but we do have properties that we lease out and things like that. And so that's work. Or they may come clean my personal home, but do that on the day that I'm working. So that's number 3. And then number 4, stop being afraid to have, this one really helped me create me time. Stop being afraid to have a non-traditional calendar or a non-traditional schedule. Many times in society, what are the 2 main off days? I'm away. Right. Saturdays and Sundays. If you know, then you know. Try going to the store on a Saturday or Sunday. You're about to spend all morning just being in line. Or try to book an appointment to get a massage, or go to the nail shop or the nail salon on a Saturday or Sunday. It's packed. And it's really not relaxing, because then the mom might have had to bring her daughter, and her daughter is running around screaming. Maybe, so I like my off days during the week when nobody else is moving around. Or you have a lesser amount of people. Your retired people are there, but everybody is at work. So I end up working on the weekends is what happens. I still don't work on Sundays too much unless I have to, or it's an event. But I don't run errands those days because I just don't. And I try to run my errands on in the evening after I get off work. But I'm off on days that other people would not seem to. I don't do Fridays either. I work on Fridays because Friday became a really big, I'm off on Friday day. So Fridays in them streets is very crowded. So in order for it to be a relaxing day, I can move quickly. I'm not in lines all day and having to deal with things that I don't want to deal with. I take a very non-traditional calendar. And when I tell people, I work on Saturdays, I prefer to be working on a Saturday than standing in line. That's just me. I could probably take Saturdays off too, but I do work on Saturdays. So those would be the ways that I would suggest to anybody, and things that I do help the entrepreneurs that I work with set up me time in the schedule. You have to, with entrepreneurship, in order to be successful, you have to literally reshape your entire way of thinking to make this thing big, beautiful, branded, and amplified. So I hope that helps. If you have any questions, reach out to me on drshikasquare.com or on social media. We are on all platforms at drshikasquare.com too. And if you were interested, like, wait, retreats and conferences, go on the website, see what's up next, see what's not sold out, because stuff is selling out. And that's it. We'll talk next time.